y'all? We back with another episode of Wrestling with Exotics. It's the face that runs the place, yo boy, the franchise kid, franchise Jerry, and I'm excited to be back, man. Feel like we haven't talked about wrestling in some time, but today on this show we're gonna be talking about the Elimination Chamber. Now I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I gave this show about a 3.5. I wasn't really feeling it like that, only because I felt like it was missing some major aspects. I felt like this year's chamber, and not only this year, but the past chambers, it's been missing something. Well, actually a few things. Like, there hasn't been titles involved, there's not enough blood, there's not enough violence. I feel like they really need to change that to boost the interest up, because they're cutting these promos, trying to make it seem like it's the scariest structure in all of wrestling. But when you see the actual match, you're like, it looked like they're trying to do their best not to hurt each other. It looks like they're all just trying to survive until next week. And I understand that, you know, health is wealth and you want to stay on the card, but at the same time, we're missing that real factor. And I feel like that's been a lot of the issue in these past Elimination Chambers. But let's get into the first match. I want to talk about the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Now, you guys know who was all in it. I want to start by saying this was an obvious win for Becky Lynch. It was clear as day what they were trying to do. And it's clear as day what they've been trying to do for weeks. And basically get this WrestleMania match between Becky and Rhea Ripley to happen. So yeah, by the way they were promoting Becky Lynch, this was an obvious matchup that they were going to do. But aside from that, Tiffany had a lot of great spots, and she also showed why she's pretty much the future of the women's division right here. Like, she has it all. And I feel like after this match, you can honestly say that she's going to be a multi-women's champion. Like, I can definitely see that for her. And Bianca, come on, she's the GOAT. She had a great performance in this match as well. She's actually a former winner of this match. Shout out to her. But unfortunately, she was rolled up by Liv Morgan. Now, I feel bad for Liv Morgan because she's always runner-up and shit, it seems like. But I feel like she'll be able to get over the hump once again, and she won't need Money in the Bank or anything like that to do it. But lastly, I want to say, I really don't see Becky Lynch beating Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I can definitely see Rhea Ripley going over Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, simply to build more credit towards her legacy. And that's pretty much what it's all about at the end of the day. They're trying to make her seem like she's like this unstoppable force. She's taken out most of the 4 women's horsemen. She obviously got Bayley scared of her. So Becky will just be another banner hung in the arena for Rhea Ripley. So I can definitely see Mami being on top. My overall rating for the Women's Elimination Chamber match, I'd have to give that match a 3.5. I would have gave it a 4 if Bianca won. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm biased. I don't give a damn. But moving forward, I want to talk about Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne versus Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This match, I gave a 3. Simply because Judgment Day walked out of there with them belts. Look, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. No way in hell should Judgment Day still be tag champions. It don't make no sense. And WWE has upped their tag team divisions, and there's so many more legible and credible tag teams out there that deserve these belts. And Judgment Day ain't really doing nothing with them. And it's only like, I look at those belts kind of like a pacifier to keep Finn Balor and Damian Priest from turning on each other. And that's the issue. But I have a resolution for that issue. Damian Priest needs to go back to NXT and challenge Ilya Dragunov for that NXT championship. He can snake Mello in the match, and then boom, he's champ, right? And then Finn Balor can go for the World Heavyweight Championship one more time, and then Judgment Day pretty much all help him beat Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre, whoever wins at WrestleMania. And then Finn Balor can be a world champion, and then after that, Dominic can compete for the North American Championship, with Rhea Ripley still being world champ. That's how the entire group can have gold. But if we're not doing that, then it's best to just let the group break up. Like, these wrestlers are starting to be too good to be around each other, where it's almost like, okay, this is competition because of how everything is lining up in WWE. Like, you know, when Gunther was asking who's going to challenge me for the Intercontinental Championship, it seemed like everybody didn't want to step on anybody's toes. And then Dom finally stepped up and was like, me. Rhea Ripley was sick when he got to the back because she like, come on, Dom, out of all people, you go, come on. So it's beginning to be they're their own competition. So eventually the group is going to implode anyway. You might as well just have it implode on good terms and everybody go off and do their own thing. Next, I want to talk about the Grayson Waller effect. Shout out Grayson Waller. Got the hottest show in wrestling right now, right? And mostly because Cody Rhodes keep coming on there and turning it up for him. You know, shout out Cody Rhodes. On the Grayson Waller effect, at Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes went out there and challenged The Rock to a one-on-one match. Do I like this? Hell no. I don't want to see Dwayne Johnson lose. I don't feel like he need to be doing that right now. You know what I mean? But it's an obvious layup for Cody Rhodes. This is going to give him credit towards his match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So it's like, okay, he beat The Rock, so he's definitely going to beat Roman, right? No, because if he beat The Rock, I can also see it playing out like this. The Rock getting mad and then interfering in Cody's match and then Cody getting screwed over again at WrestleMania. But also with that being said, I don't see Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It's just not going to happen. And on top of that, Roman's reign is just too legendary right now, right? I feel like Roman Reigns just has too much momentum. Like, you can't stop this. The only person that I feel like that can, or well, let me say the only people I feel like can actually stop this is Bobby Lashley or AJ Styles. But anybody else, like, it just wouldn't make sense. And you guys seen what they've done with Cody Rhodes' story since that loss to Roman Reigns the first time at WrestleMania. Random matches with Drew McIntyre, 5 matches with Shinsuke Nakamura. They're trying to build that credibility for Cody because he don't got it. So imagine Cody Rhodes coming from AEW and 2 years back into the company, he's knocking off Roman Reigns, someone that's been champion for over 1,000 days. That, what? No. And you're telling me Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles and Randy Orton and all these other dudes couldn't do that? And they're more decorated than him? It don't make no sense. If Cody wins, shout out to him. And it was given and earned, but mostly given. Because, come on, the way they built Roman Reigns up, can't nobody take that shit from him anytime soon. At least not until SummerSlam. Other than that, I really don't see Roman Reigns losing that title. And I also gotta say, the chances of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins losing in the same weekend? Come on now, how does that sound? That's slim to none. There's no chance. Like Vince McMahon's theme music. No chance. That's what you got. So I feel like the only champs that will be losing at WrestleMania will be Logan Paul, depending on who he's facing, or Io Sky. She's definitely losing to Bayley. She's going to give that up to Bayley, and it's much deserved. I also don't like how they've been snubbing Bayley, for real. I think that shit's kind of lame. That's definitely on WWE. She's not on these posters. She's not being promoted like that. You only see her on Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know what's up. Like, I don't know what's up. Maybe it's because Bayley's got like this new little gothic thing and she's not trying to hug no more. And all that extra shit. I don't know what's up, but I don't like how she's getting snubbed. Bayley's obviously not my favorite, but I gotta, you know, speak up. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong at the end of the day. But next, let's talk about the men's Elimination Chamber match, right? We got Drew McIntyre being the last man standing and being Seth Rollins' challenger at WrestleMania. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. I gave this match a 3.5 because the right person won. So shout out Drew McIntyre. At the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I'll go ahead and be biased, but I would have gave it a higher rating if Randy Orton could have won this match. But at the same time, after seeing how Randy's back was holding up in this match, I was like, yeah, bro, I don't want you to win. I don't want you to win. Because imagine that. Seth Rollins got a bad back, and then now Randy Orton got a bad back, and it's going to be bad back versus bad back. And I definitely put more trust in Seth Rollins in that situation, and at the same time, I would look at that as an obvious layup. Now, Drew McIntyre has lost 12 straight title matches. Any match that he was involved in with the championship, he has lost. And the majority of those losses was to Seth Rollins. So with that being said, I definitely see Drew McIntyre defeating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But I also got to mention, Randy Orton lost this match because he wanted to be a dickhead and RKO / eliminate Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul wasn't standing for that. He had them bronze knuckles tucked. And right before they was about to let him out the gate, he ran in the ring, yock up, and knocked Randy Orton the fuck out. And it was a layup for Drew McIntyre after that. But I can definitely see Logan Paul versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but I don't want it to be for the U.S. Championship. And I don't think Randy Orton wants it to be for the U.S. Championship. Since Randy Orton has been back in WWE, he has not mentioned anything else besides a world title. He wants one more, at least one more world title run. And he's going to do his very best to stick around for that. The last thing I think he wants is a mid-card title. Even though him versus Logan Paul, I can definitely see Randy Orton winning and being the United States champion. But at the same time, like I said, I don't think Randy Orton's fucking with that vibe. I think he wants to continue to stay in the world title picture. And, you know, that's where he belongs. As I did mention earlier, Randy did suffer a back injury. So hopefully that heals up by the time WrestleMania comes around and he can compete in the biggest showcase in the world. And if you don't believe that WrestleMania is the biggest showcase in the world, then you need to go look up the numbers. They do more numbers than the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl, World Cup, you name it. Everybody be tapped into this wrestling shit for real. I promise you. Alright. We're going to spark up another one and then talk about our main event. The main event was featuring Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. This was an obvious layup for Rhea Ripley, but Nia Jax made her work for that shit, for sure. And I can confidently say that Nia Jax will be the next World Women's Champion. And she deserves it too. And she has the look, she got the skill, it just makes sense. Who else is stopping her? Can't nobody else stop her. And Rhea Ripley did her finisher on Nia Jax, and that shit looked so weak. Like, Nia looked like she could kick out of that bitch any moment, anytime she wanted. But, you know, y'all know how this wrestling shit go. So, that's why I'm like, yeah, Nia, she's got to be next up. She's just got to be. But aside from that, shout out to Mami, because she did hold it down. You know, at the end of the day, you still got to compete. You got to make it through the match injury-free. You got to do your job, and she definitely did that, and she remains World Women's Champion. So, shout out to her. I think, in my opinion, this is the most credible person she's faced in her entire reign. And I'd have to say this was her second hardest match in her entire run so far. The first hardest match that she actually had was defending that belt in the Women's Fatal 5-Way. And featuring in that match was Raquel, Nia, Shayna, and Zoe Stark. So, pretty tough lineup, but at that time, it was still like obvious where they were going with this. Rhea Ripley was definitely about to hold this shit all the way up until this year's WrestleMania. Like, we knew what the hell was going on, so I'm not going to try to play with y'all and act like we don't know what's going on. But some things I didn't like about the Chamber, again, there's no titles involved. Like, I would love to see Roman Reigns defend his title in an Elimination Chamber. Like, imagine that. That's when you really get to talk shit and be tribal chief and assert dominance and shit and show that you're an alpha male. Like, this is the match that you want for that. I would think that Roman Reigns would want to be a part of that. Because again, in that match, you can assert dominance. You can really show why you the tribal chief. Like, you can even make that your match. Like, this is my yard. I'm still the big dog up in this bitch and shit. And imagine if Seth Rollins was able to compete and defend his belt in this match. Like, that would make the match that much more amazing. I would love to see Seth Rollins in an Elimination Chamber situation where he's got to defend or win a belt. Like, that's what's up. That's how you really sell these tickets, and then that's how you also keep the interest in these matches. Because I'm gonna be real with you, the Elimination Chamber just seems like an Eliminators match, a regular Eliminators match. And the way they cut promos about the Elimination Chamber, it's supposed to be more than that. Trust me, it's an Eliminators match, but you know, there's supposed to be a lot of blood, violence, and big reward at the end. So I feel like they just need to get back to that aspect of it. They do that, then the Elimination Chamber is turned again. But, oh, I forgot to mention, that men's match, I gave that a 3.5. And Rhea Ripley's match, I gave that a 3. Because, like I said, it was an obvious layup. It was an obvious layup. But overall, I would give the pay-per-view a 3.5. Like, this was a solid pay-per-view. We're clearly on the road to WrestleMania, so this is just building towards then. And like I said earlier, it looked like the wrestlers didn't want to do too much because they wanted to make it to WrestleMania. So that part I understand, but to keep the reality factor of the Elimination Chamber and to also back up them promos that y'all be cutting about it, it's like, yeah, we need some more reality factor in there for it to actually hit like that, you know, because you guys are calling it shit like the most demonic structure, 200 miles of chain, and all this other wild shit. And when you get in there, it looked like a pillow fight compared to that. So hopefully that changes in the future. I really think it will, because, you know, WWE is going to Netflix next year. They're going to be getting more viewers, and I'm pretty sure that they want to add that factor in as well, that reality factor. But that is going to wrap up our show. I appreciate everybody out there for always staying tuned in, always locking in with me, and always staying down. Shout out to you guys. I love you guys. Make sure you guys please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be doing more videos throughout the week. Be looking forward to the interviews I'm about to drop as well. You definitely don't want to miss that. Also, check out our shop at pcfshop.com. Yo, I'll put the link in the description. We got fly shit for all the players around the world. Tap in with us, man. Appreciate you. And continue to treat one another right, man. Love each other. Love y'all. Peace.